Okay guys, welcome back. This is of course Lite Crypto here, and today we are going to be talking about liquidity based airdrop farming. And in the last couple of days there has been an influx of new members in my community, and they have basically asked, hey, I haven't done any farming whatsoever, where should I start? And that's what we're going to be exploring in this video, looking at what are the best farming opportunities right now, and also looking at the macro look at the airdrop scene as of right now. So let's get started without further ado. First of all, I do want to remind new people on the channel to check out the Notion page for a lot of alpha airdrops and hidden gems, which are not really mentioned in my videos or other people's videos. So you can find a lot of interesting stuff to basically farm out in our Notion page. But one of the things I really want to talk about here first is actually the tier list. So a lot of people are coming out to me in a regular basis like, is it too late to farm X? And what exactly is the current airdrop farming situation? So since last year, I have talked about the narrative of the Big Six. And that Big Six basically included Eigenlayer, Linea, Wormhole, Layer 0, CK Sync, and Starknet. And 4 of those basically have already now concluded. And some of them may have like, a second phase or something like that. But we always know that the first drop is where it basically matters. Now, one of the things that are still in that Big Six is Eigenlayer and Linea. Now, Eigenlayer has already conducted their first drop, which are not tradable as of right now. And the second drop is likely going to be happening somewhere along this summer. But I don't think we're going to be getting access to our tokens until like September. So Eigenlayer, in terms of the high quality projects, has a very long farming time still. There might be a third phase, a fourth phase. We don't know exactly as of right now. And Linea is another one which is totally open right now, the Linea Surge campaign, which is a liquidity-based side of this airdrop, which has been multi-phase. So we had the Linea LXP things before. So you're not going to be getting a maximum allocation if you're going to be starting right now. But if you have a lot of liquidity, I think you can make still a decent bag. Now, one of the things we obviously have after the S tier, which is the Big Six, there's nothing really coming out which is even coming close to the Big Six in my opinion. Now, I have shifted around some of these projects from our last list, which was back in December. So in terms of the A tier, we don't really have much going on here. So we have Monad, we have Phantom and MetaMask. The reason why Phantom and MetaMask are on the A tier is because they're really, really huge wallets, and they don't really have that much of a competition, and there isn't an oversaturation of wallet-based tokens. Something we have talked about throughout this year is that there's a lot of EVM-based projects, and they are eating each other's markets and valuations because it's too oversaturated. So that is why I do believe that Phantom and MetaMask are actually very valuable tokens because, first of all, they have tens of millions of actual users and they are multi-chain. Ethereum, MetaMask is going to be starting to support Bitcoin very soon. Phantom already supports Solana, Ethereum, Polygon, and Bitcoin as of right now. So these are very large multi-coin based wallets as of right now. In terms of the B tier, there's a lot of overlap between B and C. Some of these entries could be swapped out. C tier, in my opinion, is drops that are going to be valued roughly at $100 or something like that. And I'm talking about averages here. D tier is going to be, don't even touch this shit. These are things that are not going to make you money. So do not waste your time on Manta. Do not waste your time on Camino. Do not start farming P, or do not participate on Mode Part 2. These are dead in the water. And the last year we had also an E tier. Now we're just going to be having D tier. And there are a lot of other things that actually belong in the D tier, but I just didn't want to go through millions of different things which could have been added into the D tier. There's a lot of that shit which is was basically worthless. That includes lending protocols that I've said this for months. We had Nostra airdrop yesterday. We had the Zero Lend airdrop. These were all worthless. Lending protocols are not going to make you any money, and they are a really bad place to basically deposit your liquidity into unless you are getting some other points top of that. Now, in terms of the B and C tier, we got a couple of interesting entries here, obviously. And the big difference is obviously between B and C is that B has a lot of these, LST tokens. We have Pufferfi here, we got Kelp here, we got Solana, and we got Symbiosis. These are kind of important things because they are part of the Eigenlayer, and I think they have been pretty strong. And then we have liquid-based tokens like Milky Way and Karak. So that's going to be the big narrative till liquid staking is really important. And there's a couple of blue chip chains which are doing really well, like Blast, Parachain could be doing good, and so is Babylon and Tycho and Scroll. And C tier is just kind of like similar stuff. A lot of these are EVMs, and then there's a couple of liquidity based projects, but they are and basically all the wallets are C tier. Some of them could be D tier. It's hard to say. But yeah, those wallets have been taking their sweet time, by the way, to drop their airdrops. But what I'm trying to say is that, frankly, there's just too many EVMs coming out, and this is like not even half of it. We've got Skate Chain here, we've got Shardium, we've got Frame, like so much of this shit coming out, and that's why they're getting devalued, because there's too many EVMs and the economy cannot sustain that much. Another point we're going to be talking about is this chart that I created out today. And so the 3 most important assets for liquidity farming are going to be A, Solana, B, Ethereum, and C, Bitcoin. There are a couple of 2 alternatives here which are not in this list, which includes Aptos, Sui, and Ton. All of these 6 coins, I think, have a pretty stable price. They're not going to suddenly just go minus 30% or 40% in valuation. So they're very good assets to basically participate on liquidity farming or liquidity staking. And in case of like Ton and Aptos and Sui, they don't have these deposit campaigns, so that's why they're not introduced in this video. But there are a lot of liquidity-based staking available for those 3 coins, which you should explore too if you're already invested in those 3 coins and are generally bullish on them. So on Solana's side, we have Sanctum. Sanctum's first part of their point system ended, and I assume that the token is going to be launching very soon, and then they're going to be starting Season 2. Now, the Season 2 meta is actually a bait, and it's not actually very smart to participate on most of the time. 9 out of 10 times, you don't want to participate on Season 2 unless you don't really have better alternatives out there. So I wouldn't necessarily park my money back into Sanctum. I would basically move it into Solana after this. So Solana has really opened up, which we're going to be talking about in a second. That's going to be the Eigenlayer style project on Solana, and that's why it has a lot of potential. So I would go on moving my Sanctum assets into Solana after the Season 1 has ended. Unless they're going to be announcing that they're going to be doing the double the airdrop for Season 2. And obviously this is over-farmed, and a lot of people are already into it, so I don't think it'll be getting that good of a size. Now, Ethereum and the EVM chains are a lot more complex because there's a lot of projects going on here. So basically I have drawn a line here, which is the end of June. And in the end of June, we're going to have a lot of projects which are going to be ending their farming phase. That includes Blast, which has been in farming since, I believe, December, and Swell, which has also been for a very long time throughout different forms of farming phases. And what we want to do, and I talked about this elevator strategy, but I don't know really good term for it. But the idea is that once we're going to be getting the Swell bag and Blast bag, we should basically sell them into Ethereum and use that Ethereum alongside our pre-existing money to move it into the next batch of liquidity-based farming projects. So on Eigenlayer side, we got things like Kelp, Puffer, and Inception LRT, and then we got Magpie. I think those are the 4 most prominent ones. And those are the ones that are probably going to be launching end of summer. I would assume that they are going to be launching their tokens before the launch of Eigenlayer, which we talked about is in September. So once the Swell and Blast are ending, and I assume a lot of you do have money in these 2 projects already because we have shilled them on the channel and chances are you're farming them too. So we are going to be moving them into the next thing, which could be Karak. Then Karak is going to be ending, and we're going to be moving Karak's money into Linea, which is likely going to be happening, I want to say August, but it could go into far as October or even September. for Linea. It's a bit of a wild card right now when it's like, and this is kind of about this chart right now, is that we don't have a lot of dates available right now. What we know is Swell and Blast are ending on June. That's going to free a lot of our liquidity, and we're going to be moving it into the next thing. So you can move it into these eigenlayer based projects. We have Mitosis here, we have Zircuit, and then we have Symbiosis, which is a new eigenlayer competitor. I don't know at what stage they are in terms of their technology, but they have started out farming, which is capped out unless you're going to be participating throughout EtherFi. So EtherFi has been one of those very blue chip style eigenlayer projects because they got so many partnerships and multi-farm opportunities for them, which are fundamentally very good. Now, lastly, I do want to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there are a couple of projects where you can throw your Bitcoin. Karak, for example, we got Bob right now. There was a lot of Bitcoin farming projects earlier this year, BVM, B2 Network, and BounceBit, and etc. Some of those projects are over now, and right now you're kind of, well, holding your BTC on ordinals or just holding it, okay? And then we have Stacks, which has Stacking DAO, and Stacking DAO can be also put into Zest, which is a lending protocol. So that's one loop that you should be doing, and then you should be jumping the Stacking DAO token once it's launching, and Zest tokens into backing the Stacks, and then sell Stacks, because Stacks has been one of the best performers of the year. So let's actually jump into these. Now we're already like almost at 12 minutes of theory, but now we're going to be talking about what can we do right now. So if we want to allocate money right now, I would put out, like, let's say $1,000 in Ethereum, $1,000 on Solana, and $1,000 on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin back could be, I guess, a bit smaller, because I don't think the returns are going to be as high. So in EtherFi, we got a good opportunity to go into Symbiotic. Symbiotic is very fresh. I think we're talking about less than 2 weeks. So you have the opportunity to enter into it relatively early here. I have done very small deposit here because I wanted to get into, if there's some early adapter bonus. I'm just going to be moving more money into this after I release liquidity from elsewhere. In case you didn't know, I did get hacked for, over 2 Ethereum. Almost 2 Ethereum, so I'm kind of like low on money, but basically Symbiotic is a very good play in my opinion. It gives you 3 different points: Beta, Symbiotic, and EtherFi points. So this is one very, very good liquidity-based opportunity. Then we have Spectrum, which we have talked about a couple of times before. They are having KSP, which is going into the Chroma drop. We have Eigenlayer points, EtherFi points, and VMX airdrop points. So 4 different points that is going to be yielding for you to deposit your Ethereum right now. As of right now, there is no end date here. They're going to be doing a boost here until 24th on dApps. So you might want to leverage that on your position. And then there is also a referral. And there's a lot of referral links down below. If you want to support my work, make sure to use them. Another one that's pretty big is Zircuit. This has been one of the places to also park your Ethereum at, and a lot of the LSD tokens. So when we go into the dashboard, you can put out EigenPi, Kelp, Puffer, and EtherFi points here, and you're going to be getting multiplier points in Zircuit, and you're also going to be getting Eigenlayer points, and you're going to be getting the LRT points on the respective projects, and Circuit points, plus the APRs, and restaking APR. So this is another one that's really good. I do want to also say that it may be sometimes wise to actually spread out these. If you're going to be doing multiple Eigenlayer projects, it might be actually more wise to do multiple accounts for them. So you're going to be allocating 1 Ethereum, then split it into 0.3, 0.3, and 0.3, and split it into 3 different accounts and use those to basically gather yield. And that's my advice, because it feels to me that if you have Eigenlayer points farmed out on project A and then you have on project B, they're not actually combined together. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I felt when I got the last allocation. So I do believe that there's something like that type of minus thing. But whatever, this is another one which we don't know when it's going to be happening. They got so many different assets here, by the way, which you can stake. And this is why it's kind of different liquid staking projects, because there's so many different things that you can participate here on Zircuit. So that's something you want to look into. Now, if you don't have Ethereum and like holding Ethereum, you also have the ability to put out stablecoins into work, and that is where Athena comes in. And Athena basically allows you to stake your USD token into USDE, which is their own token, and you can put this liquidity in their own platform. And it's also supported on a couple of other places like Swell, and also the next thing we're going to be talking about, Karak. And this farming project is actually running for 75 days. That is a lot of time to still farm on the second stage of this, and rewards are going to be on late 24. So we're talking about Q4, so very long time. So you can still get into this business and start farming the Athena's second airdrop. Whether they're going to be having a third one remains to be seen. Then we have Karak. Karak is also another place where you can park your Bitcoin. A lot of the better options, to be honest, where to park your Bitcoin right now, because we did talk about Bob, but I don't know how bullish I am on Bob and where exactly would be the best place to park your BTC. And I think Karak is offering really, really good opportunities here. And there's Ethereum, USD, and BNB. And they do have a lot of very big multipliers for a lot of projects here. We have Athena. So this would be an ideal Athena place to basically park them at. Wrapped Bitcoin, if you hold that. Swell is very at the end, guys. I think it's a week away. I wouldn't go into farming Swell right now unless you really want to. And then we got like things like Stater. Stater is probably not going to be doing an airdrop. I don't know about the butterfly thing. And we also got EtherFi here once again. Bedrock is another one. Eigenpie. And the Magpie token, I don't know what to make out of that one either. So that's also a bit of a wild card. Will it be prominent or non-prominent? Another place where you can park your stables is Scroll. And Scroll also has a couple of, liquid staking projects here like Stone. Stone is probably going to be doing an airdrop. There's so many people participating on Stone, to be honest. And also Stone participations are going to be getting the Layer 0 airdrop, which should be having their checker coming out today. But as of right now, making this video, it hasn't come out yet. And we don't know when Scroll is going to be ending this session thing. I think this is only stage 1. There was stage 0, and now it's stage 1. And this is probably going to be going for a long time. I've been actually moving quite a lot of money here because you don't really need to put it into DeFi or anything or any platform. Just having it on the chain will give you these points. So this is going to be one of the places I'm going to be parking out a lot of money going in. Then we have Linea, obviously, and we said that Linea is the part of the big 6, and right now they have a lot of liquidity-based things going on. You can deposit many different assets into their chain, and you're going to be getting points for that. So that's a big thing. And one of the things you can do is actually put them into Zero Land, and this will give you a lot of different points here. So for example, if you put Renzo ETH here, you're going to be getting Eigenlayer points, you're going to be getting Renzo points, you're going to be getting Turtle points, you're going to be getting Linea points, and you're going to be getting Gravity points. So we have a lot of different, these 5 multi-point systems here available, and that's very promising. We have also Inception here, which I'm kind of bullish on. So a lot of very good Stone also available here. So I like the actual options here that you can go for. Renzo, though, I do want to say that I really am kind of bearish on their second drop. Their first drop lost value very fast, and I should have sold it at the very get-go. But yes, Zero Land is one of the better options right now to park your liquidity on Linea. So all the points you're going to be getting basically a multiplier on them by having them here. Then we have Mitosis. This is one of these things which are going through epochs. So during each epoch, they are opening the deposits, and then they're going to be having X amount of money deposited in, and then they are going to be closing them in. So you got to be fast. You're going to be depositing in the first hour or something when it's basically going to be opening. Currently we are on epoch 3, and epoch 4 is going to be happening at some point. There's multitude of different chains here like Linea Mode, and I do believe you're going to be depositing through those. You're going to be also getting points on those projects. So there's a lot of multi-pointing here. There's a lot of quests also on the platforms. If you're not able to deposit, you can increase your daily boost and get like referrals here and do Twitter quests. And there are a lot of different things that you can do here in preparation, guys. If you also have a lot of these NFTs, blue chip NFTs, like I do, the Mind Scientist and Budgie Penguins, the ladies. So a lot of options here to basically get these bonus things. So this is another one that I'm looking into putting a lot more money into once the actual deposits are going to be opening up. Then that's enough for Ethereum. So there's a lot of Ethereum options there, guys, which you can basically farm right now. You can choose a couple of them or choose many of them. And as a last though, in case you're pondering, should I do Linea or Eigenlayer? I would probably lean towards to Eigenlayer because we don't know actually the way that the Linea system is going to be tiered. I think Eigenlayer has been the most fair in their distribution in terms of the big six. So that's my 2 cents. But we don't know the length of those two, so it's really hard to say. Then on Solana, people who don't want to interact with a Bitcoin's ecosystem or the Ethereum ecosystem's EVMs, you got 2 options right now, really. That is the Sol layer, which is allowing you to stake a couple of different tokens here, including Infinity. So Infinity is probably the kind of smarter. You're not going to be getting, I don't know if it's going to be getting you points over these. There's invite codes, which I'm going to be leaving in the description. Do not take them if you're not going to be buttering the deposit right now. And this is also having these epochs where there's going to be limitations how many people can deposit right now. So make sure you're going to be depositing early, because otherwise you might be having to wait until the next epoch until you can basically deposit money here. So yeah, and you're going to be doing Solana here. A lot of the other options don't seem very exciting to me because all of these 3 have already tokens out. So what's really the point of them? But I guess Jito could do another drop, or Marinade could be doing another drop. Blaze Stake has been a kind of like a meh airdrop in my opinion. Infinity also is a good option because that's part of Sanctum. And Sanctum obviously is going to be having their 2nd tier drop. There are a couple of interesting LSDs here which you can participate on, which I do believe are going to be having their token. One is Helios Soul, and then we got a couple of like Chief Seed. That's probably going to be another one. This, by the way, Pathfinder Soul. Vaulty is going to be having an airdrop. Drifty is probably going to be increasing your points on Drift. And GPT might be having an impact on your Meteor airdrop. So there's a couple of things here as well which you could go through over, and then like I said on the image, you're just going to be shuffling them around. So first this airdrop happens, then you're going to move that liquidity into the next one to farm that, and then exit at the right precise moment. And lastly, we're just going to be talking about Stacks. Stacks has the stacking DAO. I think this is the liquidity based staking. The normal staking does give you Bitcoin yield, which is actually really good. But the stacking DAO, I somewhat still believe this is going to be a good drop, but hey, it's taking quite a long time for them to actually do anything, so I'm hoping it's going to be happening soon. And once you have basically used the STX, the STX is the stacking DAO's token, you can put it into places like Zest, which is basically lending protocol. I don't expect much from this. This is also a place where you can put Bitcoin soon, but I guess it has its perks, and I think you're still going to be getting the points from stacking DAO, so there's not really a lot of risk outside from impermanent loss. But this video is very long, so I'm going to be wrapping up here. There's a lot of these liquidity-based opportunities, guys, and there's going to be a lot more of them. But you have to do the timings right. Pay attention when this is going to be closing so you can move into the next, and then accumulate the drops, sell them to Ethereum, to Solana, to Bitcoin, and then once the bull market kicks in, then you're going to be selling these off at a good price. And some of these alts are going to be also good for holding, but fundamentally I think this is a strategy to go into, drive the airdrops into liquidity, which are going to be used to farm more airdrops. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Cheers.